What if you woke up tomorrow in a completely different body? Same brain, same memories, same personality. But suddenly the world treats you like a totally different person. That's the premise of Lookism. And honestly, it's one of the most uncomfortable stories I've ever read. So I'll be real with you. When I first started reading Lookism, I thought it was gonna be some generic body swap comedy. Like, cool concept, whatever. But by chapter 30, I had to put my phone down because it was making me genuinely angry at how accurate it was. And I'm clearly not the only one who felt that way. Lookism has over 10 billion views globally. 10 billion. The English version alone just crossed 1 billion views in January 2026. It's been running since November 2014 with almost 600 chapters. This isn't just popular. It's a cultural phenomenon. The creator is Taejun Pak. And the genius of what he did is this. He didn't write a story about beauty. He wrote a controlled experiment. He took one person, gave him two bodies, and let society expose itself. So our main character is Daniel Park. In his original body, he's short, overweight, and gets bullied every single day. Kids steal his money. Teachers ignore him. Girls won't even look at him. His mom works herself half to death just to pay rent. His life is genuinely miserable. Then one night, he falls asleep and wakes up in a second body. Tall, athletic, conventionally attractive in every way. But here's the catch. When one body sleeps, the other wakes up. He doesn't get to choose. He has to live both lives, every single day. And this is where it gets brutal. In his new body, the same people who bullied him are suddenly friendly. Girls approach him. Teachers praise him. He gets offered things he never even knew existed. Nothing about him changed except his appearance. And the world completely flipped. Taejun Pak is basically asking you a question with every chapter. Would you treat this person differently if they looked different? And the answer, over and over again, is yes. And it's not some faraway fictional thing. This is literally how the real world works. Now, the early chapters focus on Daniel's school life at J1 High School. And the cast here is massive. You've got students from different departments, fashion, music, cooking, all competing and clashing. It feels like a real high school with real social hierarchies. Okay, let's talk characters because this is where Lookism really shines. First up, Vasco. This guy looks absolutely terrifying. Huge, muscular, always angry looking. But he's actually the purest soul in the entire series. He runs a crew called Burn Knuckles whose entire purpose is to protect people from bullies. I love this man. Then there's Zack Lee, a boxing prodigy who's dealing with his own insecurities about never being good enough. He's constantly comparing himself to others, and his arc about learning to fight for his own reasons instead of proving himself is honestly one of the best character arcs in Manhwa. And Jae Hong. Man, where do I even start? He's this quiet rich kid who barely speaks but who would literally die for Daniel. His backstory involves family trauma and identity struggles that Taejun Pak handles with incredible nuance. Probably the most beloved character in the entire fandom. But the villains? That's where Lookism goes to another level. Characters like Gun and Gu aren't just obstacles. They have their own philosophies about strength and power. And the series gives you enough of their perspective that you actually understand why they do what they do. Nobody's cartoonishly evil. Because at some point, Lookism stops being a school drama and becomes something completely different. Daniel gets pulled into an underground world of Korean gang warfare. Crews like Hostel, Big Deal, and God Dog each control different territories and are led by fighters who are genuinely terrifying. And the fight scenes? Look, I've read a lot of action manhwa. Solo Leveling, Viral Hit, all of them. But Lookism's fight choreography is on a completely different tier. Taejun Pak draws martial arts that actually feel like martial arts. You can identify different fighting styles. The panels flow like animation. It's insane. Here's something a lot of people don't know. Lookism isn't a standalone story. It's the center of an entire interconnected universe. Viral Hit, Manager Kim, Quest Supremacy, they all take place in the same world. Characters cross over. Events in one series affect the others. Taejun Pak basically built the MCU of Manhwa. In December 2022, Netflix dropped an anime adaptation by Studio Mir, the people who made Legend of Korra. It's 8 episodes covering the early school arcs. The animation quality is solid, and it's a great entry point if you're not into reading. But here's the thing. The anime only covers maybe the first 50 chapters out of almost 600. It doesn't even touch the gang arcs, the fights, or most of the character development. If you watched the anime and thought it was just a school drama, you haven't seen anything yet. Season 2 still hasn't been confirmed, which is honestly criminal. At its core, Lookism is about the gap between who you are and how the world sees you. Daniel's 2 bodies aren't just a plot device. They're a metaphor for how all of us perform different versions of ourselves depending on who's watching. And Taejun Pak doesn't give easy answers. Some characters weaponize their beauty. Others are destroyed by it. So why did this manhwa hit 10 billion views? Because it talks about something everyone experiences but nobody wants to admit. We all judge people by how they look. We all treat attractive people better. And reading Lookism makes you confront that about yourself. That's uncomfortable. And that's exactly why it works. My rating? Lookism is a 9 out of 10. The social commentary is sharp. The characters are incredible. The fights are top tier. It gets a bit long in certain arcs, I won't lie, 600 chapters is a commitment. But the highs of this series are genuinely some of the best moments in all of manhwa. The entire series is free on Webtoon. 10 billion people have already given it a shot. If you're into manhwa at all, this is essential reading. Let me know in the comments, do you think looks actually matter as much as Lookism says they do? Subscribe for more breakdowns every week. See you in the next one.